South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grandview Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grandview Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grandview Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
Forget about it. The best.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Good morning. Welcome in, everyone. Excuse me right out of the chute. I'm Jeff Parles. She is Alex White. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning. Happy Memorial Day to everybody.
Yes, happy Memorial Day. And also a big thank you to everyone who served our country through the years, being honored today. Should be more than one day a year, but here on Memorial Day, thank you to everyone who served our country through the years. No artful segue, but before we get our good friend, DC, Duane Colucci, in with us in a moment, we do have a baseball game that's just about to start. So we're going to hit that right out of the chute. And that's in Detroit, 2 of the better records in Major League Baseball right now, the Tigers and the Giants. Giants with a series win over the weekend. Tigers lost 3 out of 4 to Cleveland, but yesterday, Tariq Skubal dominant yesterday with the most strikeouts in a complete game under 100 pitches in the modern era yesterday, in that domination of the Cleveland Guardians. Now first to 3, rematch of the 2012 World Series, which, of course, the Giants won. But we get Birdsong and Montero here today, Alex.
So this is a stay away from me just because we haven't seen Birdsong in the starting role since last year. He is a good pitcher, though. I am excited to see what we get from him today, but he does give up some hard contact. So just a fun bet for me. I did jump in with a Riley Green home run at plus 575. Like I said, just a fun game. Start off the morning here. The Tigers is probably the right side, get back on track here after that Skubal win yesterday. But, I mean, the Giants are playing well as well. So stay offside or total-wise.
We will break down the whole baseball card a little bit later. I would only lean to Detroit at that good price at minus 110. I don't think there's much of a difference pitching-wise here in this game. So it would be a look to Detroit at that short, cheap price. Seeing if he can do any better in the market than that. Yeah, he can do a few cents better, minus 107, so negligible. Nothing too crazy, even though Birdsong, again, has pitched relatively well in a limited role so far this year. All right, let's bring him in. Our good friend, the one and only Duane Colucci, the race and sportsbook director up at the Rampart. A home game for Duane here on Memorial Day.
Yeah, definitely. Always. Wherever we are, we will join. We'll even try Delmar this year. That's what's going to be fabulous when I go at the end of July. We'll hook it up. Don't worry.
I tell you, Duane, I want you to do it from the paddock. That would be the best possible thing here.
If I could definitely bring my iPad, and I got my definitely my iPhone, but that's definitely attainable if we could do the show a little later.
Yeah,
Because I get to the track, 12, 1 o'clock. But sometimes I get there early for like Aqueduct at Belmont or Saratoga at that time of the year. So anything is possible. But how about the balcony from my condo there?
That's also good. Yeah, you know what, Duane? We'll even if we had the pre-record, who knows? Maybe we'll make it a group trip to Del Mar when you go this year. You never know. I mean, look, the whole city of Vegas ends up there for about a 10-day period in the middle of the summer. So why not add two more people, right?
No, I haven't
Alex,
been.
See, we got to drag Alex there, Jeff.
See, Duane, we'll work this out off the air. We don't need to bore everyone with our summer vacation planning right now. All right, Duane, I want to start in the NBA first. Let's go to last night. So now both teams in this series have totally ridiculous losses on their ledger. The Knicks obviously blew game 1 in ridiculous fashion last night. Indiana blows game 3 in ridiculous fashion. It led by 20. Series game will completely over. But credit the Knicks and credit Karl Anthony Towns for his 21-point explosion in the fourth quarter. And the Knicks come back, get on the board in this series. They win 106-100. Duane, what the hell do we do with this series at this point? We probably do have the right series score. Knicks probably should have won. Knicks should have won game 1. Pacers should have won last night. But we now have two just absolutely, like, you watch those games like, wait a second, how the hell did Indiana win game 1 and how the hell did the Knicks win last night? So 2-1 Indiana with an off day coming today in game 4 tomorrow night in Indiana.
Yeah, definitely a very tough series to handicap. And you remember on the show here, when we were talking during the Celtic series, I told you guys that, Madison Square Garden works against the Knicks sometimes. And it definitely is like the Knicks kryptonite at times where, the crowd is so emotional and the players get so emotional because they want to win so badly for the city of New York and to end this dry spell. And that sometimes implodes. I have to say, though, on all aspects last night, that was a tremendous letdown for Indiana. They were up by 20 points. You could see that. But Carlisle is definitely out coaching Thibodeau. I mean, you could see that. Thibodeau benched Karl Anthony Towns in the prior game, the whole fourth quarter, and now he's your best player on the floor. You cannot just have Brunson alone and singularly playing. He could carry a team, but this is the championship round of the playoffs, guys. This is where everybody plays double hard and double physical. It's how it is. And the refs are not going to call these ticky-tack fouls when Jalen is driving to the lane. He was able to finish it off last night. Total credit. He is the best finisher in the game. But that remains to be seen because Halliburton knows how to finish games. He knows how to stick the dagger in. He knows how to do the choke sign and all that. So the Knicks really have to press hard now to win this game. And it's definitely possible. You could see they can compete with this team when they elevated their emotion and their level. They went on an incredible run in the third and fourth quarter, put the game away late. Like I said, Brunson was in foul trouble, but he was able to get it done. And Towns was just huge. I mean, this is why you went out and got this guy. He's a huge clutch player at times, and definitely he could carry a team if Brunson fails, if OG fails. Josh Hart, he's definitely a gamer. He's an all-around great player and definitely a find for the Knicks. That was a tremendous trade, stealing him from Portland. And, the Knicks are definitely going to come to play, but now you're seeing the game has gone up a little bit. It went from the 1, 2, 1.5 area. Now you're seeing 2.5. People are responding, hoping that the Pacers will, flex again. And that's what we have at the Rampart and South Point. But I think the Knicks have a tremendous chance in this game. The Knicks are definitely going to be difficult. That graphic is wrong. The Pacers are 2.5, guys. The Pacers are the 2.5 point favorite. That's what I was talking about. So, It's only an extra half a point as opposed to the last game, maybe a full point. I think we closed at 1.5, but it shows signs that the public is going to back the Pacers at home in this game. I hope the Knicks get back on track at home, but that's going to be difficult. I think the Knicks need to win this game. You don't want the pressure of winning that game 5 in the Garden.
Duane, let's go to tonight's game. Minnesota gets one at home. Really impressive win for them, 143-101 against the Thunder. OKC still the favorite in Game 4 here. 3 points here at the South Point, total 219. What do you think? You think Minnesota can even it up here tonight? I think he froze.
Duane just phrased on us? Yeah, he did. All right, we'll get him back in a second. That is quite the stare down from our friend Duane Colucci right now. Ryan, just tell him to reconnect in a second. Oh, there he is. Duane, you froze on us. He's still freezing on us. All right, we'll get Duane back in.
Okay.
Oh, now he's back. Duane's back. Duane's back
I don't know
now.
what that was.
Yeah, there he is.
A slight little glitch.
Duane, you gave us quite the stare down and the freeze. I don't know how much of that you got from Alex, but what are your thoughts tonight in Minneapolis?
I was hearing Alex, and she was right. That was a tremendous performance by the home team in that last game. They showed they were able to smack OKC in the mouth, and that's something that really hasn't been done this whole playoffs. Denver played some really good games, don't get me wrong, but, Minnesota is definitely a team and a force to be reckoned with. And as long as Randall could complement, Edwards, it definitely becomes a more difficult series for Shea and the boys. And, the turnovers are definitely where it becomes a factor. The Timberwolves have to play excellent defense the way they did early on in that game, shut down the Thunder's potent offense, and definitely you have a chance to win. We're looking at a 3-point spread. The graphic is right this time. OKC is the 3-point road favorite, as they should be. I mean, we discussed this time and time again, 60-plus victories by 10 or more points, and I think they're really going to come to play with a chip on their shoulder in this game and try and get back on the winning track. It's definitely an important game. You don't want to get blown out again, because then it could show signs where, now you start to hit the panic button. I mean, I'm looking at OKC stats here. You have minus 31 with Hartenstein on the floor. That's unbelievable. I haven't seen that all season. Dort minus 22, Williams minus 31, and Shea minus 32. You have not seen that all season long. That was a credit to the Timberwolves, a tremendous effort. Total is 219. I mean, even when one team doesn't score, you see the other team gets 140 points. So you got to like the over. There's very little defense here. I mean, not like the Knicks series where it becomes physical down the stretch and you can have a chance to cash in on an under. This just seems to be a 3-point shooting fest. And, it's going to be important. You could see the field goals. Gilgeous-Alexander, 4 for 13. That's unacceptable when you're the MVP. You have to take it to another level, like Jordan, like Kobe. These guys always took it to another level. This kid wants to be around for many years and staple himself as one of the best NBA players ever. He really has to step it up in this game. I think the Thunder will bounce back in this game, to tell you the truth. I think they are the better team when they play their game, but that was a massive blowout, like Alex said. So, you get blown out by 40 points. That sends a message and plays in the back of your mind. So they're going to have to get rectify this real quick, and that's on the coaching staff. Get that influence back in, that, the confidence that you had all season. You were the best team in the NBA. Let's continue that, because Minnesota's hungry right now. Anthony Edwards, 39-6. Look at that. 30 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and a plus 36 when he was on the floor. He finally got to that level, what we love to see from Anthony Edwards, because we know he's a top 5 player in the game as well.
I like Minnesota tonight personally, but again, I've been very cautious in this round. Again, the Pacer-Knicks series, unless if you're betting an in-game, there's no point anymore in that series, at least from a pre-flop. Minnesota, totally different team at home now. It's just a question of, though, the road team shooting in this series has been awful in all 3 games. Timberwolves are dreadful from 3 in their 2 losses in Oklahoma City. Thunder, again, granted, Oklahoma City that game was over pretty quickly, and I got to give the T-Wolves pretty good credit for not allowing the Thunder any sort of life in that game like the Pacers did last night and the Knicks did in game 1. So credit there where credit is due. To the ice, Duane. Speaking of no showing,
Both teams.
What Carolina has done in this series has been disgusting, for lack of a better word. Non-competitive on all three games. Game 3 managed to be even worse than the first two, despite, actually, in all honesty, game 2 was the worst because you're on your home ice, you're in desperation, and you get clocked like you did. And then game 3, you lose 6-2. You start the nonsense with all the simultaneous roughing BS at the end of that game because you're getting your butt whipped for the third straight time. Duane, if there's any pulse, I would say, all right, you know what, maybe Carolina can steal game 4, steal game 5, and then make Florida sweat. It's not like last year where Edmonton was at least competitive in the first 3 games of the Cup final, and then they made Florida sweat. I don't see it. I think this is a rout tonight. Puck line, empty net goal prop. I would do the whole ball and wax on Florida here tonight to just wrap this thing up, and then they may have some time before they take on the winner of the Western Conference Series.
Yeah, I don't know how much time, though. Dallas don't look much better the way Edmonton is starting to steamroll at this point. But, I think that, Florida is the best team in the NHL. I've said it time and time again. It's just that they're flexing now. And the Hurricanes are the same vanilla Hurricanes that we've seen the Rangers dispose of in the playoffs multiple years in the past. They get to this point and they just can't turn the corner. And they have goaltender problems. Everybody, Anderson. No, he's not that great. I mean, you have to look at it. When a guy starts to really play well at an exceptional level, he could sometimes carry the momentum, but they had to go back to Kochetkov. He was horrible. I mean, they just found so many holes in his game, and this Florida team is monsters right now. They're definitely going to sweep. I don't see Carolina. I agree with you, Jeff. I don't see anything. I mean, look at these guys. Boquist, Barkov. Look at the points. Barkov, 3 points plus 4. Boquist, like I said, 3 points plus 4. Forsling plus 2. Jones plus 3. Monsters play from all angles, and it's good to see you have 2 Vegas Golden Knights on there, Thomas Nosek and Nate Schmitty, that may get a cup, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's unbelievable how good Florida is. I have a dislike for Edmonton, but they're going to be the team that they're playing. I feel right now, the way Edmonton is playing, it's unbelievable. Skinner was able to get that, bad game out of his system, and Edmonton just blew out the last game. So it's looking like a cup rematch, in my opinion. Panthers, there's some value here. I mean, you're looking at 165 only laying against a team that can't score a goal. And, Bobrovsky is just, I can't speak enough about this guy. He's playing at an excellent level. And, he's not a youngster. He's been in the league for many, many years. This is a credit to Florida. Maurice is unbelievable. He's a great coach. I love the way he has that dry sense of humor, great in the interviews, just a player's coach. And you could see that. Brind'Amour is scratching his head. Not that he's not a player's coach, but definitely you're seeing a top-level, top-notch team. This is a team that is comparable in some aspects to the Tampa Bay Lightning from a few years ago, and definitely Tkachuk leads the way. He's just such a physical presence. You saw that in the Nations 4, and he's just carrying it on. He was banged up. Came into the playoffs with a chip on his shoulder, and they're just routing teams. I'll be honest with you guys. I wish Montreal was playing this team because they might have been the toughest opponent out of all the 8 teams in the playoffs because they were the only team that was undefeated against Florida in the regular season. And, it's just unfortunate they had to play the Capitals, which they match up so poorly against in the first round. So Panthers are just disposing of teams. Not that Toronto wasn't a great, series, but they disposed of them as well. They were scoring 6 on them whenever they wanted and just shut them down and demoralized that fan base down the stretch in those last 3 games. So, this is definitely one of the best teams I've seen in quite a long time. And they have an all-star roster. We just went over it. So I can't see the Hurricanes coming back. Maybe Hurricane fans, you could salvage one, but I doubt it. I got to agree with Mr. Parles here.
So a couple bets that I did find that I'm curious on both of your thoughts here, but if you really do like Florida and think they can get it done in regulation, minus 110, I mean, that's a pretty good number rather than minus 165. Or if you think maybe Carolina can at least force overtime, a tie is 320. And then my last question for you, Duane, is because I was on the under in the first game and now I've just totally stayed away, and I'm glad. Even though my numbers say it should be a low-scoring game, we're not seeing that 16 goals from the Panthers in 3 games. So is it over 5.5 or maybe even Panthers over 3.5 team total?
Well, I think you could play both sides of the option there, Alex. You bring up a great, I like that overtime wager. That definitely has a chance because if Carolina keeps it close, but then also you could hedge with the puck line on Florida because if they're up by one or too late, they're going to pull the goalie with 10 minutes to go if they're losing by a lot. I've seen teams do this before, and then you got the puck line at plus 155.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great betting options. You know what I've been preaching too, getting back to the NBA, those Karl Anthony Towns overs, other than the game where he benched him in the fourth quarter there, they've been tremendous because he matches up so well against the Pacers. And we spoke about that coming into the series. But yeah, I like that overtime wager, Alex. I think there's definitely a chance. And you would hope that the Hurricanes play a little more physical. That's why we put up the 5.5 tonight. And you're actually seeing the under shaded. So this could be a 3-2, 3-1 game. Definitely close down the stretch. That's why I like that overtime option. And believe it or not, under could be a possibility. The Hurricanes have to come with something tonight, right? I mean, they're not banged up and destroyed. Actually, Florida was missing their key player in the last game. So I hope the Hurricanes make it more entertaining than what it's been because it's killing handle the way these games are such lopsided, both of the NHL games, which is uncharacteristic at this time of the year, especially in the conference finals. It's amazing to say that the Knicks and Pacers are probably the most exciting thing that is going on, but, Knicks fans feel that regardless, even if they blow a 20-point lead. So out of all these four series, that's been the most entertaining.
Well, I 100% agree with you on that. And just going to the other hockey series real quick. And, it's been pretty formulaic for Edmonton. When Stuart Skinner has played well, they've won. And Skinner's been was obviously the shutout in game 2. He was great again yesterday. And, that game flipped pretty quickly because the refs missed what the broadcast that I thought was a delay of game penalty on flipping the puck out of play without anything. They didn't call it. And Edmonton scored 2 goals in 25 seconds. And it's like, all right, this game's over. And, this is kind of the thing with Edmonton where the beginning of that first series against the Kings, it was like, all right, well, Skinner's unplayable right now. Their defense is lost on top of the goaltender being unplayable. And you're down 0-2, heading home, a Kings team that had been 4 straight years of beating. At some point, they're due, right? And ever since that moment, they have been as dominant as Florida's been in this round and as dominant as they were in round 1. Edmonton has been the best team in this postseason. If you're just looking off a sheer controlling of the games they've played in, they're minus 160 tomorrow night, Duane. I actually think that's a relatively cheap price. And as much as I like Ottinger, I just think this has gone the wrong way for Dallas, and they've run out of gas here more so than anything.
They can't win on the road. That's what it comes down to. I mean, like you said, everything changed. Exactly, Jeff. And everything changed. The 7 straight periods that Skinner shut out the Vegas Golden Knights. That's when you knew Edmonton was for real. And, Vegas is a team that could win on the road. When Skinner is shutting you down, and they have a great offense, the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, they couldn't get a thing going. And that was 7 straight periods. That's when you knew Edmonton was for real. And also, disposing of the Kings. I thought the Kings were a much better team coming into that series, believe it or not. Even though Edmonton had the better record, I felt the Kings would definitely do, like you said, Jeff. And they've proven me wrong, Edmonton. I've backed off, of my harsh criticism because they're playing so well. And when Nugent Hopkins starts to help these guys, he had 3 assists in that last game. That definitely helps. You can't just have McDavid and Draisaitl. McDavid had 2 goals. Hyman is playing fabulous. And now it's all coming full circle, and Skinner is definitely putting up some games where he's outplaying Jake Ottinger, who is the better goaltender. So Dallas now is definitely up against it. They have to get some goal scoring from this roster. Robertson, Seguin, these guys have to step up. There has to be some forcefulness near the net. You have to clog the net. You have to get some screens on Skinner because he likes to go down and you can beat him high. And if you get a lot of screens on him, he'll give up goals. Don't think that he's Patrick Roy or Dominic Hasek. But they can't do it. It seems like they just take their shots from the top end of the circle, maybe the blue line. They're not getting high quality shots. They're not driving the puck to the net. And this is playing right into Edmonton's, powerhouse and their wheelhouse because McDavid is taking it to the net and Dreisaitl's always camped out there and Ottinger is having a tough time. He's the one that's getting screened constantly. And it's not a factor of shots. I mean, Dallas is getting more shots than Edmonton, but Edmonton is getting quality shots. And they're getting some good block shots and timely sticks down and definitely playing rougher than the two teams. And you would expect Dallas to get a little more physical. And, it's just Peter DeBoer at this time as well. He seems to like cringe and fold up. So, he's got to rectify this problem real quick. I think Edmonton's the right side. Like you said, minus 160 looks like a gift at home, but anything's possible. I mean, if Ottinger stands on his head, he is the best goalie, in the series, and he could definitely control a game, and that's what Dallas is hoping for. But Robertson has really got to step up his play. He's got to start to score goals now. It's on him.
Excited for that one tomorrow. We'll see if they can hang around in this series. I have a question for you about the WNBA before we let you go, Duane. Saturday, we saw Indiana give their best effort against the defending champs in the Liberty. Did really good, a 30-point third quarter to come back in that one, but ultimately New York did win. Now Caitlin Clark does have a strain and will be out for a couple weeks. Curious how the handle has been with the WNBA this year so far.
It's been solid, Alex. I mean, now 5 games without Caitlin Clark, it's definitely going to hurt. We put our props on Caitlin every game. So, that definitely takes away from the betting menu. She is the focal point of the WNBA. I mean, it's a hard league to follow just because of all the surroundings of the league. A lot of people just bet on Caitlin blindly. A lot of people bet on the Vegas Aces blindly as well. That's where our handle is created. Definitely Caitlin Clark is the focal point. And now the New York Liberty, because everybody knows what a well-rounded team. They're a monstrous team, I tell you. Eskew there got to the hoop there, got those 2 foul shots to close out that game. They stripped the ball from Caitlin. That was a really exciting game. And I'm not a big fan of the WNBA just because of all the crap that surrounds it. But that was exciting and that was excellent. Definitely Caitlin helps to handle. Handle has been good. I mean, ever since she's joined the league, it's been tremendous. And it helps when the Aces are good. We have a marquee MVP playing for us as well. We did get rid of Kelsey Plum, which was kind of a head scratcher, but I guess it had to be done. And we'll see how the Aces remain if they could create handle in Caitlin's absence, because we're relying on the Liberty now. And, teams like Connecticut are just horrible. You could see that. Chicago, terrible. They're horrible. They're not coached well, and they're not a cohesive unit. That's what the problem is there. Not on Angel Reese at all. She's a great rebounder, but, she can't shoot like from that. I mean, she's got to work on shooting. That's all she should do in practice is shoot. You can't shoot 22% and be the face of the league. I mean, you're getting rebounds like Rodman and players like that, but you need to elevate your play a little more. And definitely, she's got the physical aspect, and definitely she is a face of the game. But now with Caitlin out, we're going to take a hit.
Duane, before we let you enjoy your holiday off, any horse racing we got to be on the lookout for this week?
Oh, well, we got the Belmont coming up at Saratoga, but today, Yes, I do have a horse for you guys. I was just trying not to fiddle with the racing form while I'm on the camera, but I did have a horse here for you guys. Okay, we got the 8th race, the number 5 horse, Waralalo. Chris Engelhardt, Joel Rosario. This horse is definitely moving from dirt to turf. I think it will be a positive move. The buyers are right there. We're getting an 8-1 morning line. This will be the first run on the turf for this horse, but I think he has enough pedigree to where he will like the turf. And there's not much to beat here. The horse underneath him, the 6, is going to take a lot of money, not for hire. But I like Waralo, number 5 in the 8th race at Belmont at the Big A. Box him with the 6 horse, not for hire. Belmont is shaping up great, guys. I tell you the truth. Baeza, my horse, had a tremendous workout at Santa Anita. Is going to ship the 29th of this month over to Saratoga. So he'll be there. He'll be acclimated. Hopefully Sovereignty is healthy, and we're just going to have journalism there. It's going to be the trifecta of the Kentucky Derby. Maybe even Crudo if he gets in. I have a fondness for that horse, but look for him in the Woody Stevens, probably the same day as the Belmont. I haven't seen how they drew the stakes races, but it's going to be a phenomenal week over at Saratoga. That's what we're looking forward to. This holiday weekend was unbelievable. I mean, we had some great racing. Everything is running today, so come down to the Rampart. We have all the racing fired up. Churchill Downs, Aqueduct, everything. Santa Anita is running. About the only track not running is Gulfstream in southern Florida, but everything is running. Horseshoe, Indiana. I'll be swamped today. I'm just going to be sipping on scotch and betting on horses, my favorite pastime. I needed a day off after this plethora of action that we've had from the Derby, Preakness, NBA playoffs, and all that going on. It's definitely great time of the year to be a bookmaker in Las Vegas. But now things start to slow down when we get to the Stanley Cup and the NBA Finals, and after the Triple Crown, that's when we talk about our vacations like we were earlier, guys. So, it's going to be great.
Hey, look, there's nothing wrong with a glass of scotch, and you'll have all your races. Oh, that sounds like a pretty darn good day, actually, Duane. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Barbecue, a little healthy chicken, we'll do it.
Oh,
okay.
come on,
go crazy.
Go all out. Get some burgers on the grill there, Duane. Come on now.
Yeah, definitely burgers and dogs. The America's pastime on Memorial Day. What's better than Memorial Day weekend, guys? I mean, all it is betting, drinking, partying. It's fabulous. That's why we live in Las Vegas. Alex will tell you. That's why she's smiling. It's the best. That all you got to do is listen to her picks, and you're going to make millions of dollars. So just follow the show. Listen to the best show about sports betting and horse racing there is, without a doubt.
Pressure's on, Alex.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we got the jackpot cards too. If you're ready for the NFL already, we got the jackpot cards out at the Rampart and South Point. So they're in the rack. Get as many in as possible. They're $5, guys. If you start betting them now up until opening week of the NFL, you're bound to have a winning card. I mean, think about it. And anything over the 25,000 goes into the pool. So, this is usually our best card, and we do go over 25,000. So the overlay money is in the pool. It's $5, no point spread. People I know people are already hungry for the NFL. That's all people come up. People that don't like the NBA, that's all they say. I can't wait for football. I can't wait for football. So we have the jackpot card out. We have we have win totals out. We have everything at the Rampart and South Point. So come by, visit us. Come to the Rampart, come to the South Point, visit me, visit Chris, visit Jimmy, visit Vinny. We got it all going on. If you're ready for the NFL, start betting early because these are great betting opportunities now, because these are where, before all the money starts to get applied in, you can find some definite advantages for the player.
We got them right here, Duane.
There it is.
We had to. Sean had to Vanna White it over to us, but we got it. So again, it's out now. This again, I don't want to say there will definitely be an overlay, but last year there was. So there was an overlay.
One of our best. So it should be.
Excuse me, I said the wrong term. It went over the top of $25,000 last year, I should say. Right. There was an overlay on the college football one, which, again, bowl season will be coming abound before you know it. But the pro football one, it says $25,000. There's a good chance it'll go above and beyond the $25K. $5, as many cards as you want. And please do them before that first Sunday of the NFL season, so Duane and his staff up at the Rampart and the staff upstairs don't have to waste time on 35 to 45 to maybe even 105 tickets from one person, which, Duane, I know people bet 100 of these tickets on leading up to the games, as I know.
It's a shame that the kiosks don't take them, I'll be honest with you. We got to find the kiosk that takes those jackpot cards because, like you said, Jeff, there's guys that line up and it's like 25 minutes. And the whole key with the stadium system, keep this in mind, I know that Chris knows this little trick. Swipe the player's card after they make the bets, because if you swipe, everyone has to come up for approval at the Rampart, and that doubles up on the process. We're going to give you the comp points regardless, and it's just it's tedious to just have to approve every one of the jackpot cards if we swipe the player's card. And swipe it right after the wagers. Make sure you take pictures and copies of your tickets as well, because when you buy 100, 150 of the tickets, you could possibly lose one, and you don't want to have that happen. So always, with technology nowadays, it's so easy. You just take a photo of your ticket, even if you purchase 10, take 10 pictures of them, in case you lose your ticket, because it's just, everybody buys these tickets and they're only $5 each. It's similar to a 10-cent Superfecta at the track. If you buy 100 10-cent Superfectas, well, you're bound to possibly have one of the tickets slip through your fingers. We don't want that to happen. And like Jeff said, get them in early. Don't come in on Sunday at about 8:30, and try and run 500 of those cards. Do us a favor, please. That's the player and the client and the owner or the runner or the operator of the sports book. That's the bond that we have. So try and follow that if possible. But we love all the action we could get. It's just a tremendous, fabulous time of the season, like I said, and leading into the NFL and college football. We get that little break in July, but August is just around the corner, guys. It's almost June 1st already.
Duane Colucci, everyone. NYBookie Duane on the tweets, racing sportsbook director up at the Rampart. Every Monday with us right here at 10 a.m. Colucci, enjoy your day off. Enjoy the holiday. We will see you again 1 week from today.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Alex. You guys enjoy your Memorial Day as well, and let's pick some winners today.
We will do our best. Duane Colucci, everyone. When we get back, trivia questions in the bottom. We go through the baseball card. And then we'll set you on your way on a Monday. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day. Plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back in at Sports by the Book here on Memorial Day. Alex White alongside me. I'm Jeff Parles. Shout to the crew that's here today. Vince, Ryan, and Sean working on a holiday as well. The Family Matters contingent on a trip. We'll see them back on Friday. And where's Jerry? What has Jerry been doing these last 2 weeks? He's just been hanging around town, making sure that we're not doing anything too crazy. That's where our guy Jerry's been. So thank you for watching. If you're with us here today, you got a lot we can be doing here today on a holiday. So we appreciate it. So Alex, let's get to baseball here. We begin in Chicago. Day game in Wrigley on a holiday, and the reward for the Cubs is that they get to play the 9-44 Colorado Rockies. Hey, the Rockies took one off the Yankees.
Yes, they did.
Took one. That was more than enough to move up, almost get to double digits. May not be a good win to get a good week to get a win for Colorado with trips to Chicago and New York to take on the Mets. So playing two playoff teams at the moment. These next two series after playing the Yankees. Palmquist and Tyone at 7.5 low total. Wow. Wind blowing in about 11 miles an hour. Minus 340 on the Cubs. Huge price as expected.
Wow. That moved down even from 8, which I am a little shocked about, with Yes, wind blowing in, but not much there. So I like the Cubs team total. You can get 3.5, juiced a little bit to the over. 4.5 for the Cubs, minus 125. I think that's a great play here. I mean, the Cubs are the third best offense against the lefties. OPS, I think they're going to keep their hitting going. I was concerned with them early in the week last week, but I mean, they've really turned it on again. One of the best lineups on the board. Looking at the numbers, 168 WRC plus in the last 7, batting 335 as a team, 382 OBP. Like I said, third best against lefties. I think they'll do just fine here in this one. So Cubs to get at least 5 runs.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Best offense in baseball against the worst pitching in baseball. Usually a pretty good mix for offense, even with the wind blowing in at Wrigley here today. All right, going to Arizona next. The Pirates and the Diamondbacks, minus 185 on Arizona, plus 165 on the Pirates, a total of 9 in this one, Alex.
This is very tough. I'm shocked that the Diamondbacks just got swept by the Cardinals. Really, I would like the way that they were playing, but now this is a little concerning. I would only play on the Pirates here at plus 165. I think this number is just a little bit too steep here. Ryan Nelson did pitch very well against the Dodgers, so coming into this, probably feeling pretty good, but I think Andrew Heaney's been just fine as well. So taking a look at their offensive numbers, Pirates have figured it out a little bit in the last 7, just as good of numbers as the Diamondbacks. So I'm not going to play it. It's not going to make the board, but it's a strong lean to the dog in that one.
Under, but again, it's not the greatest of pitching matchups. Diamondbacks are not playing well right now. This is they are a game under 500 now, entering the week at 26-27. They just got swept in St. Louis. This again in a National League that is so compact, in a National League that is very high end this year. You can't really have these horrible stretches when you haven't given yourself some room.
Right.
And now for Arizona, you're 4 behind the Padres, you're 6 behind the Dodgers. You gotta get fat and happy against these bad teams. This is a series where Arizona's got to get their act together and starts tonight. But again, it would be a look to the dog for you, like you just said, Alex. So Arizona minus 185. Let's go to San Diego. And Alex, I know the Padres aren't playing their best. They did just take 2 out of 3 from Atlanta over the weekend. And now they're back at home with Vasquez against Weathers. And I don't know what's going on with the pricing here. I really don't. I know that, again, Vasquez has been the weakest of the starting pitchers for San Diego, but the Padres are back at home. They're a much better home team than road team. You're facing a Miami team. I know Weathers is a very limited sample size. He's pitched well this year, but I'm sorry. This is a much better San Diego team than Miami, even with the struggles the Padres have had the last 10 days. That's a good price at minus 145. I would expect this to come closer to minus 70.
I do. I could see it going that way, definitely. I mean, it already has moved a little bit, about 10 cents from the opener there. You're right. We don't have a big sample size on Weathers, but he did pitch twice against the Cubs and did very good in both of those outings. Went 5 innings in both and 1 earned run. Big strikeout guy, 9 strikeouts, just 1 walk in those 2 starts as well. So I like the under a lot here. I mean, you just mentioned the Padres kind of turning it around, but it's really been based off of their pitching staff. So I think as long as Weathers can get to 5 innings, we'll be okay here. I like under in the first 5. It's 4, and you're getting even money. I don't mind the under full game either at 8.
I think that under is good, too. Again, it's just Vasquez. That's really the bigger thing. And then, look, at some point, San Diego's going to start hitting again. It's been about a 2.5-week stretch where they have not hit at all.
Yeah.
At some point, that's going to flip back the other way. Just too much talent in that lineup to go in a month-long doldrum like we're about a week away from potentially being there with San Diego. All right, All-American League games now. We go to Texas next. Toronto on the road in Arlington. It's a good pitching matchup with Gausman and DeGrom. DeGrom is a minus 130 favorite, total of 7, I should say, in this one here today in Arlington.
I hate that Toronto just lost in the brutal fashion that they did, because I am going with another under here. And I mean, the embarrassment factor, they lost 13-0 to Tampa Bay, but still, I mean, that just says how much they've been struggling hitting. And the Rangers have not been much better. I like both of these guys, both of them sub-1 whip coming into this. So this is a definite under in the first 5 innings. It is 3.5, but I think we'll be okay. I mean, even their medians are pretty good. Gosman is a 3 median, but I'll have to look at if it's just one game that really, or a couple games that skewed that. So under for me, under 3.5 or under 7 for the full game.
We go to Tampa next. Twins, Rays. Rays have gotten it back to 500. They would have lost a lot of money if you made me guess who is in second place in the AL East right now. I still would have said Boston, but the Rays have hopped them. Still 26 and 26. Twins cooling off a little bit, but they just did win 2 out of 3 over the weekend against Kansas City. The Rays are favored today with Littell on the mound, -20, +05 on the take back in Paddock in Minnesota with a total of 9.5.
See, I think that's just a little bit high on the Rays here. Like I mentioned, though, coming off of a 13 runs scored at home, they don't have to travel here, but it would be a lean to the Twins. Nothing strong for me in this one. I do kind of like to fade teams after putting up 13. But that's really the only reason I have. I think those numbers are really accurate, and that total's okay too.
The Steinbrenner Field has actually been very interesting with how it's played this year because it's been significantly wind dependent. The games over the weekend, there was strong winds blowing in. There was one that kept circulating on social media where Yandy Diaz hit a ball that would have been, with normal conditions, out by 35 feet and stayed in. So that's something to keep in mind here. It is going to warm up, and we know that. It's Tampa Bay in the summer and even when we get to the fall, it's still going to be nice there. But we're going to have to really monitor the wind in comparison to what we looked at. We have a big enough sample size now that we know that wind is going to play a role on totals here in Tampa Bay. And if it's blowing out, it kind of plays Wrigley-ish with those. All right, we go to Anaheim, Alex. Yarborough and Kohanowitz here for the Yankees, who took 2 out of 3 over the weekend from the Colorado Rockies, which some may deem was not good enough. The Angels, of course, naturally lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins after the big winning streak, as we kind of expected that something ridiculous would happen. Kohanowitz is +150 at home in this one. The total is 10. That is a big number at that ballpark. But again, you got 2 mediocre starting pitchers going here today in Yarborough and Kohanowitz.
It would only be an overplay for me. I mean, you bring up both of the pitchers and then both of the offenses looking at their numbers in the last 7. I mean, both above 126 WRC plus and above 269 batting average as a team. So I could only look over. It is a lean, but I don't think it's gonna make the board, or I'm gonna bet it.
I kind of like that price on the Angels at +150, but the one thing with the Angels, we have to be able to pick the streaks out correctly, where we got to get them in the middle of the streak one way, and then got to be able to, all right, wait it a little bit, see if we're going to get a streak, because they've been super streaky this year, where big losing streaks, big winning streak that they just had that finished over the weekend. Going to stay out of this, but boy, 10 at Angel Stadium is a big number. We do not see those numbers very often unless the weather is just really, really warm there in Anaheim, which tonight, not the case. It's honestly a very regular spring night in Anaheim. It's going to be in the mid-60s. So no abnormal weather, no random 98 in there in SoCal here today. All right, we go to AmFam. Let's go to Milwaukee next. Brew Crew, Red Sox. Red Sox just can't really put together a run here. Still a game under 500. They do have their ace and Cy Young favorite Garrett Crochet on the mound here against Patrick of the Brew Crew. -65, total of 7.5. Brewers +150 on the take back here today.
I think that is a very good price for the Red Sox here. I do worry about their bullpen, even though the Brewers bullpen hasn't been great, but maybe a slight advantage there. I was trying to look at this, find the best way to play this, and I think it's just the Brewers team total going under. It is 3.5, but I mean, first 5 is also 3.5. So you kind of have to decide what you want to do there. If you want both teams stay under that 3.5 in the first 5 innings, or just the Brewers full game. I personally like the Brewers full game under 3.5 runs.
I don't mind that. Brewers' offense been suspect this whole year. Maybe even the first 5 under 1.5.
Yeah.
So you're just not even messing around post Crochet. Now you're going to have to lay a little bit of juice on that, but that might not be a bad idea. And again, Red Sox actually lost Crochet's last start last week. So it'd be a nice little bounce back with their ace on the bump. All right, we go to Baltimore next. Charlie Morton and Eric Fetty, your pitching matchup. Cardinals red hot right now as they've gotten, again, they're well in the playoff mix right now. 7 games over 500 on St. Louis. They play those lowly Orioles, as you see on the screen right now, 16 games under 500. Alex, this total's too low to me. Now, we know the Cardinals differential. They're the second best home team in the National League right now after the sweep of the Diamondbacks. Yep. They're 19-8 at home. The only team with a better home record is the Mets, and they're 19-6. They just played 2 less home games. Cardinals and the Dodgers are the only other teams with 19 wins at home. On the road, the Cardinals have gotten a little bit better. They're 11-15 after that just dreadful start where they were 10 games under on the road. Yeah. They were 2-12, so nice little stabilization. Charlie Morton has been awful this year, and you get any sort of offense out of Baltimore in what is still a hitter's park, even with the dimension changes over the last few years. 8.5 over feels pretty darn good to me. I just want to attack Morton here. And Fetty's capable of giving up 3 runs in 6 innings, and that should be good enough to get you over 8.5 here, Alex.
Petty has done really well in his last 3 starts. It was a little bit of a struggle to start the season, but
don't tell Keith.
I mean, well, I should correct myself. He was doing really well, and then he did give up 4 in 5 against the Tigers, who were also playing really well at that point. So I don't hate that at all. I decided to stay off of this. I think that's a cheap price for the Cardinals. I do think that they can get some hits off of Morton here, but weird spot with the Cardinals coming off that sweep, and then the Orioles played well against Pittsburgh, 2-2 in that series. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with this one. I think the numbers are. I think that 8.5 is decent, but I think that's just cheap for the Cardinals, and that's it. But I'm not going to take them on the road here in the first game.
Don't blame me. Again, Morton really struggled going over to Baltimore this year. All right, going to New York next. Mets and White Sox. This is a week for the Mets to get themselves fat and happy. They get 6 games against the White Sox and the Rockies this week. Begins with Clay Holmes tonight at -270. Adrian Hauser, former Met, on the bump. Hauser's first start for the White Sox was awesome. But again, historically, pretty average pitcher. 8.5 the total for this one. You were looking at actually playing this first 5 more so than anything, potentially.
Well, I mean, I saw a +1.5 at -120 for the White Sox to keep this close. A little bit of the revenge, right? Or Hauser going back here, playing against his old team, only for a year, but still. And I like what we saw from him in that first start. 6 innings pitched, just 2 hits, no earned runs. Can he do that again against the Mets team? I just think they're coming off a really big series. So if anything, I was looking at the +1.5 them to keep it close. But if anything, I'd be looking at the first 5 under. I think both pitchers can do well here in this one and keep it a pretty low scoring game.
Right now, White Sox still with that worst record in the American League. But again, the White Sox have been bad. I'm not saying they haven't, but they're nowhere near as bad as they were a year ago when they were obviously the worst team in the history of baseball, and the Rockies are the ones on pace this year to try to catch that in the worst way possible. Royals and Reds, Lorenzen and Martinez in Kansas City this afternoon, -10 on the Royals, -05 on the Reds. Total of 7.5 in this one, Alex. It would only be a look at Kansas City here, but I'm going to stay out of this game.
Honestly, I saw there was some wind in this one too, so I'm staying out of it as well. I agree with you. I think that is a little bit cheap here for the Royals, but I'm kind of done betting the Reds, either against or on them. Doesn't seem to go my way, so definitely staying off of that one.
Potential for a rain out here. It's going to be light rain the whole time. So they could decide to axe it. They could just play it through just slightly rainy conditions.
And that's going to be the reason for this low total, right? Because I thought that total was too low. I think both of these pitchers can definitely get hit today. So
it's interesting because Kansas City is another one of these teams. We talk about home road splits. Their offense is a mediocre offense away from Kaufman. They've the last 2 years especially been a top tier offense at home.
Yeah.
Neither of these pitchers jump off the charts. They've both been perfectly, I would say, average. I think they look at those numbers. They're the definitions of average. Forget the win-loss. Just the other stats. I don't know. I'd be concerned that they may not play today. Also, they could axe this thing and just double it up later this week. All right, last one. We go to Cleveland. Dodgers traveling after playing on Sunday Night Baseball to Ohio here. Not a far flight. Guardians took 3 out of 4 over the weekend from Detroit before Tariq Skubal did Tariq Skubal things to them yesterday afternoon. Yamamoto and Williams, boy, that's a pretty brutal double of going Skubal, Yamamoto back to back. Minus 50 on the Dodgers, plus 35 on the guard, 7.5 the total in Cleveland.
Again, I'd like another under here, especially in the first 5 between these two. You mentioned it with the Dodgers and the travel spot. It is 4, and I saw that Mets one is actually 4.5, so I really like that one, getting that extra half. So 4, if you're going under, minus 125, you do have to pay for the juice there, but Yamamoto, I mean, I think he's going to be able to shut down this Guardians, and I think Williams has been decent enough, and looking at these two offenses, not great in the last 7, so I just want to capitalize with the starting pitchers, though, for this one for sure. First 5.
I'm with you. This is an under first 5. Dodger offense was really just in the doldrums over the last week, especially over the weekend against the Mets. The run total got a little bit exacerbated on Friday because that was a ridiculous one. No one scored for 3 innings of the ghost runner, and then the Dodgers won 7-5, and then Saturday and Sunday scored 3 runs. And yesterday, the only run was a leadoff homer by Ohtani, and that was it.
Yep.
So a Dodger offense a little bit sluggish at the current moment. Wonder if that's more Met pitching or if they're actually going into a little bit of a slump. I'm with you. This is a good first 500, and this feels like a good lineup for Yamamoto to really dominate through 5 or 6 innings here today.
Just to your point, the last 7, they're batting 195 as a team, 285 OBP and 71 WRC plus. So don't see that from this Dodgers lineup, but I think it's going to take a few games or maybe just one game to really get back on track, but hoping not this one.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, Alex's whiteboard will be ready. We'll also have the trivia answer when we get back. It's Sports by the Book here on Memorial Day at the South Point studio.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book, South Point studio.
This is the best sports betting network.
I would argue it is a total mismatch.
There's value with underdog prices in series.
I would lean to the under here.
My numbers are saying I got to bet the Tigers.
Two-way action.
When in doubt, we juice that favorite, that extra nickel.
Sports by the Book, South Point studio.
Forget about it. The best.
Welcome back in at Sports by the Book, South Point studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. The whiteboard's already ready to go, but before we get that, we got to get you the trivia question here today. On this date in 1993, Jose Canseco, one of the more famous videos you'll ever see, misjudged a fly ball that resulted in a home run. This is a 2-parter. Who hit the ball? What team did they play for?
Wow.
And this, of course, happened at the old Mistake by the Lake in Cleveland, Ohio. So it was then the Cleveland Indians was the team, and the hitter was Carlos Martinez, who doinked it off of Jose Canseco's head over the wall. Boy, that stadium was brutal, honestly, back then. Great play, Jose. Nick on the board here today gets that right. What a highlight that is. Still one of the best of all time.
They're laughing too.
How could you not? Look, I mean, sometimes you have to laugh when you want to cry, right? I mean, that's pretty much the way it is. But there you go. Nick on the board with that one here on Memorial Day. Cleveland went on to win the game by a run. So that ridiculous play made a big difference in the 7-6 in the game that went over the total. I don't even need to know what the total was to know that game went over the total that day. All right, Alex. Monday, Memorial Day, whiteboard. What are we looking at here today on the final Monday of May? Last week of May, by the way, also,
Yes,
which is
it
kind of
is.
crazy in its own right, too.
I'm going all totals today. So even though I might like some of these sides, I decided to just, go with this total. So the first two team totals, I do like the Cubs side, but I like them over 4.5 today. Brewers, I like them under 3.5. I'm putting the juice on there too with what the best I found. Then I'm going to do a round robin here for these four. I like these games staying under in the first 5 innings. So I probably should put F5 on there. Marlins, Padres under 4. I'm going Blue Jays, Rangers under 3.5, Dodgers, Guardians under 4, and then throwing in there White Sox and Mets under 4.5. Do a little round robin or some straight bets if you'd rather for those four.
Cubs team total is going to be on my board. That is definitely there. And that Brewers, I'm going to go look for that first five team total on Milwaukee.
I do like that too.
I'd just rather go against Crochet and then not even mess around with the bullpens as well. Hey, we'll on the hockey and the NBA, I do lean Minnesota tonight, getting 3, but I'm gonna probably just stay out of it. Betting it you in the past, you were able to find good playoff spots. It has been really hard this postseason, more so than anything. In the hockey, look, you want to lay the puck line with Florida. You want to take the empty net goal. You want to, or you go the other way, like you were saying, you take the overtime or something along those lines. I think this is an ass kicking tonight, personally, with Florida. I think this is Carolina's done. It's not even like there's been good effort either. It's just one of those where they're just mismatch.
Yeah.
Florida's in their heads and they own them right now. So Florida goal and a half, lay it. Florida in regulation, I'm good with that. Then
Minus
2,
110,
obviously. And an empty net goal I would take as well. I think this ends tonight in Sunrise, and Florida will, again, rematch. They were on our way to a rematch, Florida and Edmonton, but it would be Edmonton with the home ice this year as opposed to last year. So
Pretty crazy. I mean, that would be nuts to see Edmonton go back and then win it, where we saw Florida just do that, where they lost to the Knights the year before.
yeah, that'd
Kind
be
of a
pretty
trend
crazy
going,
if that
but-
happened back-to-back years.
Really?
But look, it'd be a hell of a series if we get Florida and Edmonton at this point.
Yeah.
As long as Carolina doesn't do something historic, I think our matchups are good, even with Dallas not playing their best at the moment.
I will say, even though that last game was a blowout for the NBA, looking at my dad's numbers, he still has a pretty big difference here for the under. So if we think that the defense is going to show up, I mean, Minnesota did hold OKC at 14 in the first quarter, and then it kind of got out of hand, and Minnesota shot really well. So if there's going to be a little regression there, even with them being at home, might be an underplay tonight. Maybe even the first half. We feel like that's a better way, so we avoid any of the craziness at the end. But that's it for me.
That's what we got. That's what we got on the show here today. Big shout out to the crew. Ryan, Vince, and Sean here today. Alex, good luck. Got some winners here. You and I and Kenny are back tomorrow. College baseball field has been announced, so maybe we'll have some plays later in the week. The pro football jackpot card is out as well. And
100
tomorrow's
days.
100 days till
Yeah.
opening night in Philadelphia, so we'll actually we can take a look at it. I don't know how many plays we'll have, but we'll take a look at week 1 and also to that opener in Philadelphia on the first Thursday in September with the Eagles and the Cowboys doing it on week 1. See you again tomorrow, 23 hours from now. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.